Coming up tonight, as government forges ahead with plans to demolish shanty towns, the opposition is asking, where are the comprehensive plans? Plus, on the CARICOM agenda, why the longest-serving prime minister in the Caribbean says he believes the region is very close to securing food security. And our Jean Joseph sits down with a local TikTok influencer who is making her mark on the international scene. The details in our arts and entertainment segment, Our News Weekend, starts now. This is Our News Weekend edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Megan Shepard. As government moves ahead with plans to demolish shanty towns, the opposition is still looking for a comprehensive plan on the way forward, especially regarding housing. Berthany McDermott reports.
Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard says the Prime Minister failed to outline a comprehensive plan, especially as it relates to housing. Social Services Minister Obi Wilshcombe has said Bahamians living in shanty towns will be responsible for finding their own housing. However, Pintard says as the country is already facing a housing shortage, a plan in this regard should have been stated.
We know that there's a need for massive construction of homes for Bahamians in general. There's already a shortage. And of course, as you remove unregulated developments, you would need to have facilities that people can purchase and lease, etc. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister his team seem not to have given this a lot of thought because they couldn't talk about what they believe the projected numbers may be, even though studies have been conducted.
Speaking in Parliament this week, Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sears revealed that the Shantytown Action Task Force has been reconstituted. However, a timeline has not been given. And as it's been stated that there are Bahamians living in shantytowns, Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain is of a different view.
I don't think that there's any regular Bahamian who wants to go and live in a shanty town. I think that those persons that they're calling Bahamians are persons who are Bahamians of Haitian descent, all right, who happen to be Bahamians. And we respect the fact that they are Bahamians with their papers. But to say that they're Bahamians, to make it sound like Bahamians are contributing to the shanty town situation, I don't think that is the way it should be.
As for if government should foot the bill for housing for those individuals living in shanty towns, Bain said no.
It is not our responsibility. I can't take it any further than that. It is not our responsibility to house anyone, okay? And if there are Bahamians living in those places, it's just like if you get evicted from your home. You're a Bahamian, and if the landlord evicts you, that isn't the landlord's job or the police job or the government job to find somewhere for you to go. If you are living in a place you built illegally according to the code, you came here illegally, that's your job to find somewhere to go.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Thanks, Berthany. While the Coalition of Independence, led by Lincoln Bain, attempting to demolish structures in the Bacardi Road area this morning after a woman claiming to own the land says she wants illegally built homes to be destroyed. Bain and his supporters met with opposition by police, and that demolition was halted. Officers on the scene telling Bain the proper channels must be followed, and they would look into the matter. This is a story we will continue to follow. Meantime, a peaceful protest is set for Miami in March, according to the Coalition of Independence leader. Bain says the protest is being organized by Bahamians living in the United States. Organizers say the protest is in response to what happened to Bain and his supporters when they attempted to protest ahead of recent CARICOM heads of government meetings.
Bahamians living in America. And so Bahamians living in America have reached out to us, and they were disgusted at what they saw outside of CARICOM on Goodman's Bay and at Bahamas. Bahamians all over the world are disgusted. So they decided that they are organizing a protest in Miami in March.
The date for the protest has not yet been released, but another protest is slated for June 2nd and 3rd outside the Bahamas consulate office there. Bain, along with 17 of his followers, were arrested earlier this month after their protest ended in chaos. They were all arraigned and released on bail. As for their future plans,
the Prime Minister has said nothing about this violation of the Constitution. It has disturbed people from around the world.
Prince Edward and Countess Sophie of Wessex wrapping up their two-day visit to the Bahamas today. During their trip, they met with the nation's leader, engaged with volunteers, and attended an awards ceremony for the Governor General's Youth Awards. The trip catching the attention of the Bahamas National Reparations Committee, which released a statement calling on the royals to heed their calls for reparations. In that statement, the group insists the time for reparations is now. In 2014, the Christie administration appointed the Bahamas National Reparations Committee ahead of a formal push by CARICOM heads to get reparations, debt cancellation, and an apology from former European colonizers. A 39-year-old man is in hospital after he was shot in the Sandilands village area this morning. The incident reportedly occurred shortly after 5 a.m. while the victim was getting into his vehicle that was parked in front of his home on Infinity Close, Sandilands village. Police say that's when he was approached by two gunmen who ordered him to give up his vehicle. The victim resisted and was shot multiple times about the body. The suspects ran from the scene and the victim was transported to hospital in a private vehicle. His condition is listed as serious. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a man whose body was found in waters near Alistown, Bimini, shortly after 7 a.m. on Friday. Police say a visitor on board a vessel docked in Bimini Bay found the body of the man partially submerged in waters. Responding officers, along with officers from the Defense Force, retrieved the body and transported it to the local clinic. The body will be flown to New Providence for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. And police on the island of Abaco are investigating a traffic fatality that occurred last night. Police say the deadly incident happened shortly after 11 p.m. while a male pedestrian was near a Candyman bar and restaurant in Marsh Harbor. That's when he was struck by a dark-colored Nissan Note, which fled the scene. EMS responded and found no vital signs of life. Police on Abaco are still searching for that driver. And still to come on Our News Weekend, the popular Jazz in the Gardens concert is weeks away. Find out what the Miami Vice Mayor has to say about the Bahamian connection. And the Bahamas Kidney Association hosting a series of events to raise awareness and funding for Kidney Month in March. Find out how you can help. All of this and more when Our News Weekend comes back from the break.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now.
Go to doctors.
3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, and Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
When we run because we can. We leap because we're free. And we push because it's what we do best. Our TV, home of the 50th Carifta Games.
We are now a few weeks away from one of the biggest events in South Florida, attracting hundreds of Bahamians. We're talking about the 16th annual Jazz in the Gardens. And come next month, big names in music will grace the stage. Italia Hall spoke with Miami Gardens Vice Mayor about the Bahamian connection.
It's billed as one of the largest music festivals in the United States. And come March 11th and 12th, the city of Miami Gardens is expected to come alive for Jazz in the Gardens. Vice Mayor of Miami Gardens, Rodney Harris, says the event is important to the South Florida region, providing a multitude of business opportunities. But more than that, Harris says it promises to be an unmatched experience.
We're going to have Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, Charlie Wilson, Ari Lennox, Sean Paul, Jodeci, Keisha Cole, El DeBarge, Mike Phillips, and Adam Blackstone. And then for our gospel listeners, we're going to have Chandler Moore, Kiara Sheard, and Pastor Mike Jr. So it's a great lineup. We have a whole lot of things that'll be going on during that week. We'll have the opening party that'll take place on Friday night.
The Vice Mayor also encouraging Bahamians to attend while highlighting on the rich history that exists between South Florida and the Bahamas.
The Bahamians came here to America and got thing started in Coconut Grove, and we have such a great Bahamian residents here in the city of Miami Gardens, and we're so excited about the fact that all of us have some form of connection with the Bahamas.
And as for how the Bahamas can strengthen that existing relationship,
we have to keep the lines of communication open, and we can also do some type of swaps whenever there's some things going on in the Bahamas. You guys let us know about it, and we can promote it here. And then, we have people that I just came back from Coco Cay, so I'm looking forward to returning to the Bahamas. I have family there in Freeport.
Mayor Harris sharing some of his favorite Bahamian foods that you may be able to sample at the event.
Conch salad, conch fritters, conch and grits, and all that good stuff.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Thanks, Natalia. Well, March is National Kidney Month, and March 9th is World Kidney Day. The Bahamas Kidney Association is hosting a series of events to raise awareness and funding. But even when it's not Kidney Month, the association is busy at work. President of the Bahamas Kidney Association, Tamika Roberts.
We launched the pilot program in September of 2022. where 30 patients benefited for 6 months and were able to receive for free Neprovite, a multivitamin specifically designed to supplement vitamins that persons with chronic kidney disease may not be getting enough of.
1 in 10 people in the world are affected by chronic kidney disease, but Robert says that's not even the most alarming aspect.
The more scary part is that most persons that have it don't even know. And so that is why we do our kidney alerts every month in high traffic areas to test persons. Two of the main causes for kidney disease are hypertension and diabetes, and that's something that we offer for free to the public. We are also including cholesterol checks in our next kidney event. And so these things are, even though small, they but they bring awareness. They make you know that, you probably are on the brink for diabetes, you do have some hypertension, and, to go and get checked.
Earlier this week, we highlighted a 10-year-old Queens College 6th grader who helped feed the hungry. Today, we're focusing on how more parents can encourage their children to take part by offering a helping hand in their community. Marlena Leonard has the story.
Think and remember that the world is not only about you and your own needs. The world doesn't revolve around you, so sometimes you have to think about other people and their needs before your own.
That's Nyla Simonet, the 10-year-old student of the year for Queens College. She's been busy at work with multiple community service projects, including the Posh Girls Symposium, which focused on helping teen girls improve self-esteem and understand mental health. More recently, her Stamp Out Hunger initiative has received national media recognition after she collected thousands of food stamps to feed the hungry. Her mother, Nakira Simonet, explains why it's so important children are raised to think outside of the box.
As parents, our responsibility is to raise global citizens, first of all. And you heard Nyla mention earlier that the world is bigger than us, and that's something that I would always tell. I have 2 kids, both of them. It's not all about you. The reality is, in order for them to be citizens that positively contribute, not just to the Bahamas, but to the world at large, they have to understand that it's not all about you, and it's not take, but also what can you do, how can you add value, and how can you give back.
For parents who fear they may have waited too late to start the community service conversation, she says,
it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start, but start. And start somewhere. Even if it is, like Nyla said, go to school and read to the kids, buy children's books, visit a children's home.
The mother and daughter are both clear on one thing in particular. Even if you aren't sure where your preferred avenue of service is yet,
do something, because at the end of the day, we all are better for it. Our country is better for it. The world is better for it. And so you just have to start just one step. I'm not going to say as a mom, it's not a lot of work. It is driving here and going there and doing all of these things, but it's so worth it to see that, you have children who understand that it's about how we all do our part to make the world better.
Reporting for Our News Weekend Edition, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Awesome advice. Thanks, Marlena. When our news weekend comes back from the break, a driven entrepreneur's decision to take a leap of faith. Stay tuned for the details in today's Generation Next segment. And wrapping the Bahamas, Sandals Royal Bahamian exposes its guests to the Bahamian experience for 242 Day. We have the details when our news weekend returns. Welcome back. Taking a leap of faith to leave a secure job and venturing into entrepreneurship can be a scary decision. But for Jamal Wallace, president and CEO of Driven Chauffeured Ground Transportation, it has so far proven to be the right decision.
Leaving that weekly salary and betting on myself was a bit hard, but the pandemic made it easy. Not going into the office and still being able to make ends meet and a bit more. I jumped into it. I dived into it, bet on myself, and it's worked out thus far.
The 33-year-old says he was a part of the transportation industry for a year before venturing out some 2 years ago. Wallace says he started with 2 high-end vehicles and has since grown his fleet to 4.
And we deal mostly with high-end clients, but I believe anyone that hops in my car is high-end. It could be you on your wedding day. It could be someone mourning a loss, going to a funeral. I still treat everyone with the same respect, and I give them the same service.
He explains the journey was not an easy one, but he is thankful for those that continue to offer him support and advice along the way.
Yeah, I had someone, Otario Riley, which is, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't have someone that believed in me, someone that has the same vision as me, someone that gives me some kind of guidance or encouragement on a daily basis.
Despite the challenges, Wallace says it's all been worth it thus far.
Outside of the financial gain, the smiles that come along with it, just taking care of all the necessities effortlessly. Like there were or are some trying times or periods throughout the year where business is not at its peak and you can't do the things that you would be accustomed to doing throughout the year. So you have to sort of dial your spending back just a bit. But for the most part, vacations are a bit easier. Taking care of your monthly is a bit easier.
His advice to other aspiring entrepreneurs?
My thing is keep dreaming and be careful who you share your dreams with. Not everyone believes in you or shares the same vision as you. So you'll get a lot of outside noise when you share your dream. But if you keep dreaming and you work silently on those dreams, sky is the limit.
The longest-serving prime minister in the Caribbean says he believes we are very close to solutions regarding food security in the region. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, who has served in that post for 22 years, says food and agricultural organization officials understand the region's plight. He also insists leaders are on one accord about making food security a top priority.
The Food and Agricultural Organization is on the ground, and the regional directors had discussions with several heads, including the delegation from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we are working with them very much through CELAC, the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean, with St. Vincent and Grenadines, as you're aware. We were elected to the pro tempore presidency of CELAC in Buenos Aires on the 24th of January. It's not yet a month. And so work is taking place on that front.
If you've been out and about on Friday, you may have noticed residents sporting their national colors. That's because it was 242 Day, a day created to showcase national pride throughout the country. And staff and guests at the Sandals Royal Bahamian did not miss out on the fun. Sandals General Manager Adrian Whitehead says when they heard about 242 Day, they wanted to celebrate in a special way.
We started off this morning with a beautiful Bahamian breakfast as they come through the door. We had stew fish, we had grits, we had boiled fish and also souse as well, of course, with Johnny Cake. Again, a nice way just to welcome them, to celebrate. We've asked our team members to wear their Bahamian colours today. So as you can see, a number of us are in Bahamian colours right the way through. We have a special, we redecorated the canteen. We've got a special Bahamian menu going into there, and the same thing for this evening as well. So just looking after them and again, encouraging the team members to celebrate and talk about 242 Day amongst them.
Whitehead says their guests will also get a chance to taste Bahamian cuisine and enjoy the sweet sounds of Junkanoo and rake and scrape. He shares the importance of exposing their visitors to a Bahamian experience.
We encourage people to go out and enjoy the Bahamian islands as well as Nassau itself through our Island Roots program, but at the same time we like to introduce them to the various types of food that we have here that are specifically from the Bahamas. You've got some gorgeous fish, you've got the lobster, you have the conch. Obviously that's a key focus to make sure that they really do enjoy and try it. Many of them come down, they want to talk about authenticity, they want to talk about getting that flavour for themselves, and we give them the opportunity to do so.
And coming up after our last break, find out how the weather will play out over the next few days. The weather report is on the way. And our Jean Joseph sits down with a popular influencer to find out what makes her tick on TikTok. What they talked about is straight ahead after the break.
When we run because we can. We leap because we're free. And we push because it's what we do best. Our TV, home of the 50th Carifta Games.
Welcome back. Warmer days and cooler nights ahead. The weather forecast is next with a look at temperatures over the next few days. Chances are you've seen videos from Daria Roll if you use TikTok or Instagram. Her on-camera persona and a slew of catchy videos have made her popular with brands at home and overseas. Join our Jean Joseph as he takes you into her world.
Meet Daria Roll, a University of the Bahamas business management graduate who is taking the uncharted path and making a name for herself online.
I work with mid-sized to larger businesses, both locally and internationally, to help with advertising efforts, campaigns, promotions, stuff of that sort.
Despite her online success and ever-growing following, Daria says she battled the thought of going all in with social media.
Always really shy growing up. I always loved art, I always loved beauty and makeup and stuff like that, but it just was having confidence to step into it. So when the pandemic happened and I got laid off from my job and I was only in school and at home, I decided to take a leap and start doing it. It was a bit nerve-wracking at first, but like I said, it's something I always wanted to do, so it just is a matter of having faith in myself and just doing it.
After getting past those initial hurdles, she quickly found that doing international business had its challenges. Her inability to travel as much as needed and the high cost of clearing packages keep her from reaching the true potential of the social media space.
So when you're getting like 15 to 20 packages a week, that's a cost. And you're using a shipping courier company, that is a cost to me. That has been a great challenge for me. I'm still trying to work out, but I think being able to travel as much as I'm needed to, and the shipping, that's really, really big help.
Despite these roadblocks, Daria continues creating content and empowering her community, which is quickly growing toward the 100,000 follower mark, something she attributes to her wit and humor.
I think it's the jokes, and I am, in a way, a bit blunt. So when it comes to product reviews and stuff, I'm pretty honest about it, but I try to do it in a way that's humorous to kind of soften it. But I think a lot of people appreciate the humor that I bring to my content, not just the makeup, but it's also an experience, I would say. When you come to my platform, it's a complete experience, because you're gonna get the makeup, you're gonna get the beauty, you're gonna learn a thing or think too, but you're also gonna love it here, because we're gonna tell some jokes, we're gonna be real about it, we're gonna laugh.
She says despite her humorous posts, many people tune in to see her creative side.
I also think people enjoy the makeup and artsy side of it. Of course, it's a makeup channel, so I think people enjoy seeing me create things on my face, because I do a lot of looks. I don't just stick to like beauty. I turned myself into a man before. I paint myself pink before. We do all type of crazy creative looks. I think people really enjoy seeing me have a passion for what I love and doing it and teaching it to them. Even if it's something they won't try, I think they just enjoy seeing the visual of it.
You can find Daria at Daria Danielle on TikTok and IG. She's always looking forward to connecting with fans and new business opportunities. For Our News, Arts and Entertainment, I'm Gene Joseph.
I was nervous at first, but you know what it never was? That serious. It was never that serious.
Thanks, Jean, and thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful weekend.